Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? I hope you guys had a great day today. We had a long weekend. I'm coming in. Sometimes we get a little bit too antsy and overzealous about trading. Sometimes we may be a little bit sluggish, but whatever the case is, I hope everything went well today. I got a great lesson based on what happened to me today, and something that I could share, and I think is really, really important. And it has to deal with revenge. And revenge is a very dangerous motivator, especially in trading. Revenge trading is the quickest way to empty your account. And there's several reasons why you could get into revenge trading, but most of the time, I'd say 99% of the time, it often comes after a mistake you made or a loss. And what it does, it makes us want to correct that mistake or to make back the loss, because at that point we feel vindicated and we can walk away and we can feel good about ourselves, even though we broke rules in the beginning and we probably broke rules trying to get vindicated. And so we feel good about it. And what that does is it creates a false sense of security. Because oftentimes, if we fix a mistake with a mistake and it works, then we're going to keep doing mistakes, because it may feel like it's easier to just make mistakes than to follow rules. And that's true. It's 100% true that it's easier to make mistakes than to actually follow rules. And once we get a taste of making mistakes and being rewarded for it, it's hard to get away from that. It's really hard to get away from that. So all we're thinking about is, I need to make that money back. Okay, and again, you're not following your rules. You start over trading. We may add size when we shouldn't, because we can make up the money quickly. Like, instead of trying to get $1 back, if I lost $1 on 300 shares, I'll go in with 500 shares and try to get like 60 cents versus trying to get $1. That's the thinking that I'm talking about, adding size. And then we don't take profit when we should, because if we're in and we normally would take profit at $1, and we're in 300 shares and we normally take profit at $1, we take 150 shares off, we make 150 bucks. But if we're down 300, you're going to be like, oh, I need to make all of that money back. And we don't take it off when we're supposed to. So we're breaking our rules. And then it turns around and comes back and stops us out. We don't stop out at break even. We leave it on to hit our max loss stop, because we want this thing to work. And it starts creating all of these issues. So your best trading is done when you focus on the process of trading. When you focus on your process, you focus on executing your strategy in the market, not trying to make something back. And last week, I cut off the P&L. I stopped looking at it at the end of the day. I didn't put it on my videos. And I got some emails about, why didn't you do that? And why did you stop? It's because I didn't want to see it. Because what happens is you start trading your P&L. When I'm tracking where I am throughout the week and it's not good, then I'm going to start forcing some things just to try to save face. Or I'm going to try, and it's hard because it creeps up on you. Most of the time, I can deal with it. But there's some days, especially like today, you're going to see it didn't start very well, and I kind of got I almost got caught up. Well, I did get caught up in that revenge cycle, but I was able to get out of it and do the things the right way. And that's what we're going to have to do if we're going to be serious traders, because we're going to experience all of this. I don't care if you've been trading for 30 years. You're going to experience these feelings. The only difference between a beginner trader and somebody that's been trading 30 years is that they can recognize this and they know exactly how to deal with it when it starts to come up, so that it doesn't create any major issues for them. And I did that today, but I still didn't follow those rules. So, we're going to get into that in a second. Now, you guys that's been asking about Lucky, the story about that, I'm going to share that with you at the end. I'm going to do the recap and go through all of that. And then if you want to watch it, it's going to be tacked on to the end of this recap. All right, so we woke up this morning just like we woke up last Monday. We woke up Tuesday morning like we woke up last Monday morning, beginning of the week, to a gap up. And a gap up over significant level. This morning we got up over 300 bucks. I saw it last night. It opened around 299 or something, and it just kind of worked its way up, or 297. I can't remember the exact price, but I saw it work its way up over 300 bucks. And most of the time when we open with a significant gap up like this, the value is always going to be to the short side. And that's just the way it happens. Because when it gaps up, you get a lot of profit taking and a lot of selling. People are getting out of their positions. That doesn't mean that it's not going to hold. But typically, most of the value is going to be to the short side. Every now and then, you'll find some to the long side if you have a stock that has its own catalyst, things that are going up on earnings or whatever. But you can see we had a gap up here and a big sell day. Practically sold all day. And then we kind of got bought up a little bit. And then it started selling going into the close. So right now we're at like 299.32. So we're under the daily 200, the daily 200 right now. But I think we closed above it. I'm not 100% sure if we actually closed above it or not. But the last 30 minutes of the day, we sold off pretty hard. But tomorrow will be another day. It'll be interesting to see where we end up. Are we going to hold the 200? And are we going to hold that $300 level? That $300 level is a major psychological level, which is why I was focusing in on it. But, we'll see tomorrow if we're going to hold this 200. But last week, you can see it just put itself in this channel last week after the gap up. And our swings didn't do a damn thing. Because they're all based on technicals. And the stock was trading sideways, nothing. Today, gapped up. I waited before I looked at getting in anything. And I think one stock, BMRN, did really, really well. The rest of them kind of fell with the market. And that's why I said we need to wait. Because I know when the market gaps like this, the value's to the downside. So we needed to wait to see if it was going to get caught up. It never did. So I didn't enter anything today. But it's going to be interesting going forward here. All right, so RCL, this is where everything started. Now, RCL, I felt, had a huge window to the upside. Huge window. We talked about all of that in our pregame. Building our watch list, and we vet the stocks. And so I was looking for a move up to here. I was looking for this thing to push up and my first target was going to be this 48.60 level. Well, this candle opened, it ran up, and you could clearly see, and we identified it, and we talked about it right then, and it ran into some resistance. And so it started coming back. And I was like, I'm going to go ahead and take half off here. It's still in a decent area. I'm going to take half off. I took half off, and instead of taking half off, I clicked cover half versus sell half. And this is an issue that I have every now and then when I'm not focused. I'll click the wrong button. So I clicked cover, which is what I should do when I'm short. So I ended up buying more. And then I had to quickly turn around and sell 2/3 of it because I didn't want to be, this thing was coming down, and I didn't want to hold it. So I got out of it and left the last piece on, which messed up my entry, my average. And so I had to stop out here. And either way, I would have stopped out at break even if everything had worked out perfectly. But I didn't realize that at the time. I didn't analyze that at the time because all I saw was this thing starting to bounce and come back, and I was just upset with myself for making that. So what I did was, I'm feeling like, man, I'm starting off this thing with a mistake. This should have been a nice base hit and ready to get locked and loaded to, try to get back in this, and ended up messing it up. So later on, you'll see I got back in. I'm thinking that we're breaking out over this 48.60 level, and damn if this thing didn't fail on me. But as soon as it bounced off to 20, and I was just starting the mentor session, and this was the first trade that he asked me about, and we were talking about it. He was like, is this a good place to get in and all this? And I was like, yeah, this is how we need to do it. And so we bounced, and once we broke the high of this candle and we were over this 48.60 level, we bought. And you can see we had to hold this. And the great thing that came out of this trade is that the trader I was working with, he said this was the first time he's been able to hold a stock to his profit target. Because we started in the mentor session. Obviously, we were well out of it by 2 o'clock. But he was still DMing me, and I was, letting him know, look, just wait. Be patient. If it doesn't, break down technically, you got room. And sure enough, he held it and pretty much got a really nice trade on it. He hadn't sent it to me yet, but I don't know if it's better than mine or whatever, but he did take profit along the way. And you can see we hit our first target at 49.50. And then we hit the second target up here at 50, through 50, and then we came back, and I took it off because I could tell we were rolling over. We ran into some resistance, and it was just a no-brainer to take it off. So this trade, I didn't lose any money on it, but I didn't make as much as I should have. I don't know exactly how much. I think it was about $75 or $80 that I ended up with, and I should have had around 120. But from that mistake. In this one, it was just unfortunate. It wasn't ready to go yet. But so it pulled back, and then I caught it, and it was kind of ready to go. It still took a while to get to where it needed to go, but all in all, a really nice trade on that. And this is where I messed up in the morning, kind of vindicated myself, but I traded based on my strategies. I had gotten over the revenge trading and all of that, and you're about to see that here in a minute. I'm saving that for last because that's how embarrassed I am about it. Okay, so Roku, this is the one that set me off because I made a huge mistake. And you can look at this right here, and all you could say one word: chasing. That's what it was, chasing. Even though I thought I was trying to buy it off of this 108.04, if you zoom out, look at how far this thing fell. Why the hell would I short it down that far? All right, so once I did that and it started turning, and I kind of looked at this thing, I was really mad at myself, really angry at myself, because this is not something that I should have done. So here it was. I cut this off so you can see see this better. But Roku, I got in at 107.40 and ended up taking it off. I think I had some slippage built in, so it worked out perfect. But I mean, I was really upset, and this is one of those instances where I should have taken this thing off as soon as I realized what happened and that there was really no chance of this thing working out. I should have killed it, and here was one of those revenge factors. You know, I'm thinking I'm just going to leave it on and so it can come back. And, you know, that was the wrong thing to do. So that was that. So now here's the really messed up thing. I took this trade when I was taking my break. You know, after the first two trades, I was really upset. I took this. I'm gonna walk away. The worst thing you can do, and that's my plan. When I start feeling what I was feeling, it's time to get up, walk away from the platform. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work if you take your phone with you and decide that you're gonna watch another stock because you want to nail it if it sets up. Okay, that I'm telling you, this is one of I was doing the right thing, and then I did the wrong thing doing the right thing. And it's all because of revenge. Because I wanted to save face. I couldn't accept the mistake I made on Roku. I wanted to make that back so that I could come in and sit back and relax. But I just couldn't do it. So I got in, and it was really nice. I got the first target here, and I was trying to again set my stop, and it's just difficult on the phone. Really difficult when you can hardly see, and I just completely came unglued. Through all of this is just completely coming unglued because the phone's not working right. It's not doing what I'm supposed to do. But had I kept my cool and kept a level head, this would have been a really nice trade. But yeah, I sat here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 extra tickets. Now, if I was in Thinkorswim and I had 0 commissions, wouldn't matter. Well, even with $2 commissions, it's not a big deal. But still, 6 tickets. And I'm speechless. So this is what happens when revenge kicks in. When you get into that revenge mindset, you're not focusing on execution. You make a mistake and then everything comes unglued. And again, I made a mistake, everything came unglued again. And I shouldn't have been trading. I should have been working it out and just just taking my time and letting the market come to me. But after this, you saw the second trade we took on RCL. After that debacle, and in the mentor session, I was calm, cool, collected. We talked through this trade. This one was beautiful, and here on MRNA, this one was beautiful as well. We waited patiently. I don't know how long. I know you guys in chat were sick of me talking about this because I've been talking about it for 2 hours. But I waited and waited and waited, and once it broke, and like I said, once we lost the daily 20, once we got a good confirmed loss of that, and of course we kind of dipped down below it here, but here was the low. So we had to crack this in order for it to be a trade. And this was token support. I know it looks like it kind of caught it, but 60 is where it bounced. This was token support. I didn't even think that this would give any resistance at all, because this was like the top of a big wick, and typically those are just token. And it really was token. So 60 was what this reacted off of, and once we got through 60, this dropped very quickly. I looked at something for like 3 seconds and came back, and we were already down below 59. That's just how quick this rolled over. And it's exactly what I've been saying all day. If this thing loses the daily 20, look out. The next level was like 56.30 something. But we didn't quite get there. We couldn't get through 57. And as I saw that we weren't getting through it, and support just kept building in, we were making higher lows, I went ahead and took it off and locked in that profit. So everything after the morning, after just making a mess of the morning, taking your time and trading, focus on our process of trading. Not focusing on trying to make the money back. Not focusing on trying to vindicate myself or make myself look better or look good. It was about doing the right thing. That's what it was about. So we ended up today 414.17. Really should have been a $700 day. Really should have been a $700 day. Roku never should have taken that trade. And had I not taken that trade, I would have traded MRNA perfectly the first time and then the second time, and we would have been in really, really good shape. But I'll still take this. Even though the day we had, I'll still take it. Okay? And I'm trying, guys. If I lose focus because I'm tracking my P&L throughout this week, I'm going to stop doing it. I have to focus on the chart, on making sure that I'm taking only the trades that I need to take, and that I'm not trying to get some number or be at some point at the end of the week or at the end of the month. You have to focus on the chart. You have to focus on the trades, not on your P&L. That's why I always just look at my equity curve. All right, so this is where we are 17, 15, 90 for the month. Had a really good Friday. So we ended this month 1438.90. I mean the week 1438.90. After a bad start on Monday, not so good on Tuesday, not so good on Thursday, not so good on Wednesday. Friday was a really good day. So that helped bring us out. You know, I stopped focusing on the P&L and start just watching the chart, looking for the setups, being patient, waiting for them to happen, and just nailing. And here's our equity curve. So we're back going in the right direction. We had some hiccups here, but this is normal. This is natural. Anybody that has one that just keeps going straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up, I'd have to question. I'd have to question what they're doing, because I need to learn it. If it's doing that, they found the secret of the Holy Grail. But this is what I like to watch. I like to watch this. I can watch the running total. I don't care about the individual numbers. I just want to see this continue to go up. If it's going up, we're making money, and I'm happy. All right, so that wraps up last week. So you guys that want to know about the legend of my lucky girl here, here's a quick story. She was the one that would always be separated from the other kittens, would always be on the other side of the carport and everything. You see, this is where this picture I took of her when she was outside. And one morning, I was backing out to go to the store in my car. And when I backed out, I saw a kitten sitting right there where I had backed out from. And then as I was sitting there, I saw another kitten running up the driveway, like it ran from under my car all the way up. So I stopped, because I know sometimes kittens get in cars and all that. So I stopped, and I didn't go anywhere. That's when I started driving my wife's car. So I parked it. We would always park it on the other side of the driveway. Well, I didn't think anything of it, because they would never go into that car or anything. So I go to my mom's house one day. It's about 5 miles away. And I go in her house and get something from her, help her out. I'm in there for about 5 minutes. And I come out and I look down the driveway, and there's a kitten sitting there. And I'm like, oh, that looks just like one of the kittens at my house. And her neighbor has a lot of cats too, so I thought they might have had kittens. Then I thought about it, and I was like, I haven't seen any kittens over there lately. I was like, damn, if that's not one of the kittens from my house. It looks just like the kitten that's always on the other side of the carport. So I went to try to get her, and she ran into these prickly bushes. I went in there and got all scratched up trying to get her. And I got her back to the car. I didn't expect her to bite as hard as she bit. And she bit down, and I kind of dropped her, and she ran under the car again. Had to jack the car up, and found where she was hiding. And there was a nice little place under there, under the dustpan, that she was all snuggled up in. So I had to go up under there and get her, brought her home. I thought it was a boy, so I named him Lucky. Now we brought him home, and we were thought about taking him to the SPCA and looked up some cat rescue clinics. I think this was on the weekend. And so we decided to take her to the vet and get them checked out to make sure everything was fine before we looked at trying to give her away. And so he checked her out, ran the tests, and we ended up just getting her first shots. And that's when I found out that was a her. So instead of Lucky, I just call her Lucky Girl. And that's how we ended up with her. We decided just to keep her. And she just hangs out here every day. And this is the cage that I made for her. So you guys can look at this. Hold on a second. Alright guys, so here's Miss Lucky Girl. You see she's walking around in a cage. This is the playpen that I have for her. Now, the first thing I did was I bought like a puppy playpen. And I'm like, yeah, this'll work. She's 3 feet tall. And she's not that big. But it worked for a couple of days until she learned that she could climb. And once she started climbing, that was it. I had to come up with a way to cover this up and to keep her in. But I didn't want to put anything solid. I wanted the light to come in. I wanted her to feel free and open. So what I did, I went and got another one of those kits, and I took it apart and actually made a top. So I used the parts that came with the playpen kit and actually made a top. And it's one of the things that I used to love to do in engineering class. They would always give us a problem and only gave us so much material and said, hey, you need to solve a problem just using this. And that's pretty much what I did. It was a lot of fun. So you can see here, there's a door on top that I can open, and if I need to get to her litter or food, whatever I need, she makes a mess, I can get in and take care of it without having to take anything apart. Just pop the door open. You see her, she's over there in the corner playing. Hey, Miss Lucky Girl. And so she's got all of her toys in here. She likes the box, that little ball that's hanging. She does her boxing skills. But she loves that box. This is just a regular box that came in. And she'll sleep in it. She'll sit on top of it like she's ruling over her domain. Or she'll jump off of it and hang off the ceiling here that I got. The top that I have on there. So she really loves that. So here I've got a door on the side where we can let her out. And I could take her bed out because she sleeps in a kennel and she uses the same bed in both places. So I have to take the bed out every night. But I can open this up. You can let her out if you want to and remove the bed. But she's already learned how to open this. So if I don't put this clip on right here, she can come out of this. So, all right, guys. So here's Miss Lucky Girl. All right. So that was kind of gave you an idea of how I got that kit. You see how close she is to my trading thing. And what she would do is climb up this and get on top of my wires. And I would look and she's looking at me on top of and that's the laptop cart. But and my trading desk is a little bit further to the left. But now you know Lucky. And now you see where she is, right by my side every day. Leo doesn't come around until after lunch. And they'll play a little bit, but this is my new sidekick here. All right, guys, so I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and we'll get back at this thing in the morning. Let's see if I can go through mistake-free tomorrow, and we'll see if we can double our day. So you guys take it easy, and I'll see you first thing in the morning.